You're not gonna make it. No, you ain't gonna make it. You're not gonna make it, but you can. Welcome to You're Not Gonna Make It, the show where I discuss threats that may prevent you from making it. I'm Kevin. You know those magical creatures, imps? I bet they have imp doctors, too. Who do you think those imp doctors treat? Impatience! Yeah, that's the topic of the episode. I was going to do a bit where I was silent for a bit and then accuse you of being impatient, but this is an episode, so you would think something's fucked up with the audio. So you get a shitty pun instead. Anyway, impatience is rampant in the weight loss and fitness community. It is honestly one of the biggest limiters. What am I, voice cracking? What am I, 12? It's the biggest limiters in achieving those goals. It's honestly one of the biggest limiters in achieving that goal, whether it's weight loss or fitness or whatever it is. And there are a bunch of reasons. A lot of people, first of all, have really weird expectations of how long something is supposed to take, how quickly it can happen. They're frustrated when things plateau for a bit or they don't have, rapid progress. And a lot of people just want quick fixes. Get fit quick schemes. They just want like a thing they can do instead of a change they can make. And these expectations, due to impatience, mess up a lot of people. This affected me a lot when I was losing 100 pounds. I actually had maybe no frame of reference for how long it would take realistically. I did have a friend who kicked off the inspiration for me. He lost 90 pounds in a year. So maybe in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, wow, this should be much faster. But that's crazy shit, what he did. Maybe it was 2 years, I don't know. Regardless, beyond him, I had no frame of reference for how long things should take normally. So it felt like it took a very, very long time. And I won't lie, it was frustrating at times. But I never gave up because the friend who lost a lot of weight, he showed me a regular ass guy can lose weight. So if I don't lose weight, that's on me. So I have to do it. Doesn't matter if it takes a long time, it can be done, which means I got to do it. Now, one of the biggest aids for me in having this patience was playing RPGs, playing video games where you would level up, grow your stats, and become better over time. If you play video games, you probably understand what I'm talking about when I say grinding is common. If you don't know, grinding in a video game is where you essentially redo certain areas or you fight certain enemies over and over again that you already defeated to get usually pretty small amounts of experience points. So you can level up, increase your stats, get stronger before you move on to the next area. This can help you out in terms of having an easier time when you enter that new area. Because oftentimes you enter a new area and things are hard as fuck right away. So when you grind beforehand, you are stronger than you normally would have been, and it's a bit easier. A bit more manageable, at least. Now, when you grind, this can take a long, long time. And guess what? None of that grinding matters until you level up. So you could be fighting these stupid monsters, going through this area all over again. You could be doing this for like an hour or more before you get where you want to get to. It can take a while before you actually see that level up notification. But between levels, when you're grinding, when you're fighting, when you're, killing those monsters, you get nothing. Absolutely nothing changes about your character until you level up. So you have to be okay with grinding. You have to be okay with doing this thing over and over and over and seeing nothing, getting nothing for it. So I was okay with that. I mean, I wasn't okay with it as in, I'm totally fine and not upset or frustrated at all. But I was used to it. When I was younger, no one really told me, hey, you're going to have to put in a lot of work before you see any kind of progress whatsoever. I'm like, oh, yeah, like grinding, right? Yeah, been there, done that. So that's why I was able to go through that. I did have patience built in from gaming as a younger lad. That's a pretty good skill, honestly. Not the, spending 50 hours playing RPGs, but putting in work without seeing anything in terms of progress for a long, long time. That is such an important skill. That's an extra bit of patience because in a lot of other things, you put in the work and you see gradual progress, incremental little progress here and there. With grinding, you see jack shit until you level up. With weight loss, it feels the same. You see jack shit until you notice your watch getting a bit looser, you hit a certain milestone in the weight, you look at pictures of yourself when you were first starting out with the weight loss compared to now, that's where you see the main difference. But when you're in it, when you're grinding, you feel nothing. You feel no progress happening at all. That's why those stats are important. That's why patience is important. Now, this whole problem is exacerbated heavily by social media. People just straight up fucking lying online, lying, talking about how quickly they accomplish certain things or whatever. Now, obviously, a lot of people are telling the truth. Yeah, I did this in this amount of time. Sure. Some people are not, though. Some of them use a lot of filters, a lot of really nice lighting to kind of exaggerate their points a bit. So my point is, a lot of people, they think, wow, I should be making a shit ton of progress pretty quickly according to these guys online. But that's not the case. Things actually usually take longer than you expect. But a lot of people are not patient enough for that because they have a skewed view of how long things should take or how quickly they should happen. Due to the power of editing, you guys wouldn't know it, but I exercised extreme patience just now as I'm in Chicago and I had to wait a full fucking 30 seconds for all the sirens to pass by my window. You know, I hear that fire truck basically every day, but I never hear or see anything about fires around here. So I don't know where they're going, honestly. But anyways, I had patience instead of just talking over the siren and possibly fucking up the audio. So patience helps with podcasting too. Anyway, these expectations that people have due to social media and other shit, people are taking advantage of that, of course. A lot of fitness apps, fitness programs, whatever they are, they promise rapid weight loss. Now, here's the thing. If someone ever says, oh, you'll lose 10 pounds in a month or blah, 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 they're full of shit because you can't know how quickly someone will lose weight unless you already have their stats, unless you know how much they weigh already. Because yeah, some people could lose 10 pounds in a month, maybe a bit more. Because some people are just that overweight where that big of a deficit, it's not going to be dangerous for them, at least not to begin with. But if someone says, let's say, oh, you can lose, a pound or so per week. Yes, pretty much anyone on this planet, they can deal with like a 300 to 500 calorie deficit per day. It's about a pound a week. That is legit. Anything way beyond that, you cannot possibly say without knowing the person. Now, if you're targeting people who are extremely overweight with that messaging, then maybe that can be true too. Because again, they have such an excess of weight that big of a deficit, it could work for a bit. Point being though, if you're kind of a bit overweight and someone's saying, oh, you're gonna lose fucking 15 pounds in a month, you're gonna die if you follow that. That's not legit, not realistic. Probably just a marketing lie to begin with, to be honest. This leads to a lot of people yo-yoing. If you don't know, yo-yo dieting is basically, well, it doesn't have to be dieting necessarily, but yo-yoing with your weight is going up. Like a yo-yo goes up and down. It's the weight going up and down because you keep changing your habits. You keep trying these things. They may work temporarily, but then they don't work long-term because they're not sustainable habit changes. But you're too impatient to actually try that. So you're going to go back and try something else. Might work for a little bit, but then it's not sustainable. Then you go back up in weight and blah, blah, blah. You get it. Now, most people who suffer from impatience are beginners because they just don't know any better. They just don't know how long things take in general. They may see an extremely fit, juicy guy and they're thinking, yeah, I can get there in about 3 months. Yeah. No, motherfucker. That'll take you years, probably. Almost definitely. They think it's the same for weight loss. Oh, yeah. If I actually try, I could lose weight really quickly. I could drop these 30 pounds in like, a month or two. No! And if you do, you're about to die because you went on an insane deficit or you started off really, really obese. In which case, that's fine. Even then, that's a lot. 30 pounds in a month. You're doing something fucked up there. But a lot of beginners, due to these expectations, they have impatience because they just don't know better. They don't know that they need the patience to see this whole thing through. And impatience affects people with huge goals as well. Let's say you want to lose 100 pounds like I did. Now, if you do it correctly, if you do it like robotically, you could lose 100 pounds in about 2 years. Maybe even a bit less, right? Now, real life happens. Maybe it'll take a bit longer. For me, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So it took me, I don't even know, 5 to 6-ish years to lose 100 pounds. I didn't figure out what I was doing until the very end, basically, with the nutrition. But if you would have told me ahead of time, hey, it's going to take about 6 years for you to lose 100 pounds, my impatience it might have prevented me from even trying. Because while I did say I do have patience in terms of grinding, when you put it out there at the beginning, hey, it's going to be 6 years before you do this, it's like, that's more than going to college. What the fuck? Maybe it was 5 years. I don't remember. I don't know, somewhere between 4 and 7. I really don't remember. I'll say 5 to 6, something like that. But it can be daunting because at the beginning, you want something. The reason you're even starting this goal to begin with is because you want it. So if someone's telling you, hey, there's going to be a lot of time between now and then, impatience, inevitably, it's gonna pop up in your head a bit like, oh, but I want this thing. I'd want it as soon as possible, but you're telling me it's gonna take a long time, this much time? Oh my God, I don't want to do this shit. So if you have a big goal and you happen to find out how long it's gonna take, impatience kicks in and might stop you from even trying. And there are a lot of people who have unrealistic goals sometimes too. This is a very common thing back in my days as a trainer, even now. As a coach, people would say, oh man, I want to get ready for this wedding, this event. Okay, so you want to lose, 25 pounds for this event. Okay, cool. When is it? 2 months. Oh, well, that's not happening. And people get upset when you tell them that. It can happen if you want to get liposuction. You got time for it, I think. But if you're talking real weight loss, that shit ain't happening. You need to understand that just because you set your mind on wanting something doesn't mean it's going to happen by the time you want it. That's what fucks a lot of people up. This bratty attitude where they want something, but they want it now. If it doesn't happen now, well, they freak out or they think they might as well not try. And it's odd too when they're talking about, I want to get in shape for this wedding or vacation. Guess what? That's happening way too soon for you to make that kind of change. And the really weird thing is that for some people, if they don't manage to hit this goal in time, they just don't continue. Like, I want to lose 30 pounds for this wedding. Oh, I only lost 10. Well, fuck it. What kind of mindset is that? Just keep losing weight for your life, not for the fucking wedding or vacation. Just keep on doing it. What are you, stupid? Anyway, let's get some numbers in here. Some of these are crazy. 73% of people who set fitness goals expect significant visible results within the first 2 weeks. That's crazy. So 3/4 of people are fucking stupid. That's insane, but not that surprising. And by the way, most physical change, it takes like 6 weeks at least for you to really notice something. So yeah, chill out. This is a stat that comes up a lot. Only 8% of New Year's fitness resolutioners survive past February because impatience is the most cited reason for that. Now we get into dieting. 2/3 of dieters return to their pre-diet weight within about 3 years. You know why? Fad diets. As I say often, don't go on a diet, change yours so that you can actually live with it. If you go on a diet, you're doing something that's not not sustainable. You're just copying this other thing for a bit to reach a goal. But here's the thing. If you want to stay at that weight, you have to eat a certain way for good or for a very long time. So adjust your own diet to make it work for you. Don't just hop on. I'm going to hop on fucking keto and lose weight and then hop off keto because I did it. Are you stupid? You have to keep doing what works if you want it to keep working. And the best way to do that is to just adjust your own life to make it work. This one's fucked up. The average person abandons a new fitness routine after just 2 weeks if they don't see immediate results. That's fucking crazy. These people need to grind more. This way it's kind of funny. I'm not sure which fitness app they're referring to in this stat, but 82% of fitness app users expect to lose weight twice as fast as is physiologically realistic. So most people who use some kind of application to lose weight, maybe like RP Strength or something, I don't know, they expect to lose weight twice as fast as is even possible. Where do they get the expectation from? That's what I'm curious about. That's weird. Studies show that those who lose weight gradually, as in 1-ish pounds per week, are 42% more likely to maintain their weight loss after 5 years compared to the people who lost weight very rapidly. This is because they slowly piece together a life that allows for weight maintenance. This makes sense. I lost weight over a very long period of time. Now, I wish I lost it a bit faster, but losing it slowly, I think, is probably beneficial for me. Not only because I didn't have a shit ton of excess skin, I had plenty of time to adapt to my new body, but I just got used to adjusting my life so that I just don't become fat again. I had a lot of time to make those changes, and they stuck. 91% of quick fix dieters regain all lost weight plus additional pounds within 1 year. That's fucking insane, and I believe it. Can you imagine you eat one way or eating a bunch of tasty food and you're fat as shit, and you just change wildly into something else. You might not like it, but you're sticking through. You lose a bunch of weight and you're happy now, and then you go back to normal because that's your normal. You didn't change your normal. You just hopped onto someone else's plan. And then you go back to normal and you gain more weight. I don't know how they gain more weight. I'm assuming just because in general they were meant to lose, they were meant to gain more weight with their habits to begin with. People who set realistic expectations are 3.5 times more likely to stick with their fitness programs long term. Obviously, if you set really weird expectations and you're just not going to, they're not going to happen. And constantly setting yourself up for failure is not fun or helpful. Keep in mind, a lot of people don't seem to grasp this, but if you set your expectations a bit low, I'm not saying don't be ambitious. What I'm saying is, if you set your goals to be achievable, guess what? Once you hit that goal, you can set another one. Imagine that. You don't have to just go straight to the hardest goal ever, make that just your only goal. Set a smaller one, an easier one. First, hit that, then create more goals after that. You can always create more goals, but you can only fail an overly ambitious goal so many times before you just want to stop. Now, about half of people who quit fitness programs cite a lack of visible results as their primary reason, despite them making probably a lot of good progress on the inside. Their breathing capacity is probably better, their stamina is probably a bit better. A lot of people get upset from a lack of visible results because not only are their expectations fucked up, but they're not actually tracking these results. What a lot of people expect is they're fat, they start this program, and then one day they're going to wake up and look like a model. That's not how it fucking works. You have to take pictures of when you started and then compare yourself along the way. That's where the progress starts. A lot of people expect to just enter a program fat and then leave being very obviously fit. There's a lot of in between that you have to keep track of. And by the way, if you had some more patience, you would start seeing visible results after about 6 weeks. You will start to notice some of that. Your pants will get looser. Your man boobs won't protrude as much. But impatience causes them to just want to see this stuff after 2 weeks. That's crazy. So how do you deal with impatience? Well, one of the biggest things is to set realistic expectations. Because if your expectations are, I'm going to lose 100 pounds in a month, you're going to expect very weird things, and you're going to be very, very upset when you're 3 weeks in and you have 97 pounds to lose. You're going to feel like, I need to really hurry up. The impatience will kick in. But if you have longer term goals, realistic expectations, your patience will naturally work a bit more in your favor because you'll know this will take a while. So you're not going to feel this impatience. Another thing to do is to focus more on data. Measure your food, measure your weight, measure your exercise stuff, all this stuff. If you measure it, that can actually help with the impatience a bit. Because what messes up a lot of people with the impatience is they don't see very obvious results quickly enough. But if you start measuring, you will see results much faster. Now, granted, these results will come in number form and will be smaller, but you'll see them much, much sooner than you'll see physical change. And what also would help with the impatience is to understand that life is life. All right, you're going to have plateaus, you're going to have valleys, you're going to have all this kind of stuff. Like for me, I took a trip to Italy recently, and before the trip, I lost weight in anticipation, and I gained the weight back after I came back while on the trip to Italy. Now, if you looked at the scale or something, you think, oh, wow, that's fucking horrible. You're going up and down. No, the thing is, I'm patient enough to prepare for a trip and then deal with the aftermath afterwards. I have that long-term view. And I understand life isn't just, making straight progress consistently forever at the same exact rate. That's not how it works. So understanding that life, when you're thinking about your weight loss or your fitness or whatever on a line graph, It's never going to be a straight slope. It's going to look like a fucked up roller coaster. As long as it's slowly trending towards where you want to be, you'll be okay. Just chill out, plan for it. Honestly, realistic expectations are probably the best, but having a long-term mindset is more important. Someone with a short-term mindset, they're only thinking like maybe 2 weeks into the future. They're thinking, okay, I started doing this thing. 2 weeks have passed. I haven't seen progress. I'm fucking upset. I quit. Someone with a long-term mindset, they get 2 weeks and they're like, yep, I'm still doing it. It's like 6 months in. Yep, I'm still doing it. I have seen some progress actually, but regardless, I'm still doing it. If you think long-term, you're going to last long-term with your goals. And that's honestly the best way to deal with impatience, in my opinion. Expectations and patience are basically the same thing. Patience is just the expectation that things will take longer than you think. Speaking of patience, thanks for your patience with this podcast. What are we, over 40 episodes in and you're still here? Holy mamma mia, thank you. That's cool. Remember how I started off this podcast like fairly shitty and now I'm a bit less shitty? Apply that patience to your goal, okay? Think long term, and then maybe you'll make it. Anyway, I've been patient enough. I'm hungry as fuck. I'll see you next time.